Hi, everybody. So, have you ever tried to make a change in your life and committed to it and really got some strong reasons for doing it, and yet at some point down the line, you've not been able to achieve it? The sort of things could be maybe wanting to lose weight, giving up smoking, avoiding chocolate, changing some habits, changing some ways of doing things that aren't really of any use to you and you'd rather you weren't doing them. And even, have you embarked on a new adventure? Have you decided that you perhaps want to start your own small business or take up a new hobby or do something completely different, and yet somehow you're kind of struggling with it? Now, we can make as many plans as we want. And to start on some of these things, you may have a few plans in place. If you want to lose weight, you might want to be chucking out everything that's rubbish in your cupboards. If you want to be stop smoking, then you might want to just throw the cigarettes in the bin, or avoid all those places where you would normally smoke. And if you are wanting to embark on something new, like a new hobby, you might do some research beforehand to see what it is that you need to get going, what equipment you need, these sort of things. So there is some planning that's going on in there. And yet somehow it doesn't quite get achieved, or the outcome is one that you really didn't want. You may start to put on the weight, may carry on smoking the cigarettes, may not actually fully complete doing that piece of change around your habits or taking up that new hobby, or even really getting started in your own small business maybe. So how would it be if, instead of stumbling along the way, how would it be if there was a way of planning some change that gave you a really good foundation for success? Because that's what I want to talk about today. I'm actually making this recording towards the back end of January, well, it was 18th, 19th of January. And we've all made some kind of New Year's resolution. And maybe by this point, I've actually decided, no, actually, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. But there is a methodology. There is a way of setting yourself up for success that NLP teaches, and it's called the well-formed outcome. I just call it a success plan. It's 9 simple questions. And those 9 simple questions allow you to explore everything that you might need to be thinking about when it comes to making that change, no matter what that change might be. And the fantastic thing about these questions is they're very simple, but they're very thought-provoking, and they help you to explore parts of the change that you wouldn't have thought about before. In fact, one of them is almost a deal breaker, and it's one that we don't normally ask ourselves when we're setting off on this adventure of changing something about what we do and how we do it. So let's start off. What's the first question? First question is, what is it you want to achieve? What is your goal? What is it that you actually want to achieve at the end of what you're doing and during that process of change? Now, we're very good at talking about what we don't want. Oh, I don't want to be smoking anymore. Oh, I don't want to be sitting in this house anymore when I should be out walking. Whatever it might be, we are so good at knowing what we don't want. What we're not so great at sometimes is really honing in and focusing on what it is that we actually do want. So the first question you have to ask yourself is, what's my goal? And can I talk about it in a way as if it's already happened? So when we start to talk about a goal in a way that it's already happened, we start to give our unconscious mind a lot of instruction that says, do you know what, this is already here. And we start to visualize it and feel it as if it's already happening. So can you state your outcome as if it's already happened? If a weight loss journey is where you're going to be going, it might be, I already weigh X amount of weight. I fit those size X clothes. They are all in my wardrobe. If you want to stop, say, smoking, it might be, I already go into loads of places and in loads of areas and never even think about having a cigarette. I walk past shops and don't even think about going in to buy a packet of cigarettes. So actually talking about it and stating it as if it's already happened is one of the first levels of success when it comes to sorting out how you want it to be. Now, that can take a little bit of time to put together. That can take maybe several days sometimes, just to get to the point where you are thinking about it and talking about it in a way that as if it's already happened. If somebody said to you, have you done X? You'll be going, yeah, I've done it. And how I did it was like this. And you'd be thinking about it and acting as if it's already there. So that is question number 1. Can you state it as if it's already happened? So what do you want? Why is it important to you? And what will having it actually achieve? What's it going to give you when you get it? So that's question number 1. Now, alongside question number 1 is question number 2, which is, can you make a rich representation of that outcome? Can you see it, feel it, hear it? Can you actually create almost a movie of you doing the thing that you want to achieve? And that's a really important and powerful step, because once you start to visualize it and you're giving your unconscious mind those instructions, it actually starts to build that in you, and it starts to give you the resources that you need to achieve it. So it's a very important step. Make that movie. Daydream about it. Let yourself go off into a world of, do you know, this is what it's like to have achieved the thing that I want to do. And to start to fill in the details. Make that movie. Tell the story. It's a really important step. Now, your next step is question 3. Can I start and maintain this by myself? What's it going to take to achieve that outcome? Do you need help? Can you start it? And can you maintain it yourself? Now, if the answer is yes, great. But if the answer's no, then you might want to think about some resources. And that's part of one of the other questions. But essentially, how much support do you need? And if you can do it on your own, great. But you're starting to think about, how much help might I need? And if that help is more than the support you can give yourself, then maybe you need to think about the outcome differently. Question 4 is really important. Does it fit with other outcomes? Now, it may be that what you want to achieve could upset the apple cart for other outcomes in your life or other things that you want to do. So, does it fit in with what other things you want to achieve? And does it fit in with other people's outcomes? Does it fit in with your family? Who needs to know about it? Is there some collaboration that can happen here? Does it fit with others and other things you want to do? Because if it doesn't fit, then basically it's going to be butting up against other people's outcomes and other things you might want to achieve. So it's an important question. It may be something that really gives the answer to that might be, well, actually, yeah, it fits with everything else. If you don't ask yourself the question, you can't explore the possibility that it may not actually have the right effect on other people and other outcomes. Question number 5 is, what's the context of your outcome? When do you want it? And even when don't you want it? Who will need to be involved, and what else could influence the outcome that you want? So put it in that context gives you a time and a space consideration that you might want it in 5 years' time. You might want it now. You might not want it until something else has happened. So you can actually give yourself the opportunity to look at a kind of timeline. What's involved and what could influence the outcome? Again, another thought-provoking question. This, I think, question number 6 is probably the most important out of them all, because it's a question that we don't ask ourselves, and it's a question that actually can be the deal breaker. So, what do I mean by deal breaker? Quite often, the habits that we want to change, the behaviours that we might want to change, if this is your outcome, have big benefits for us. It sounds strange that if you've got a bad habit, a habit that's not good for you, that there should be benefits to it, but there are, because otherwise why would we do it? Every behaviour that we have, the habits that we have, they give us benefits in some way. And when you change that behaviour, when you break that habit, when you decide to do something different, those benefits can get lost. And they might not be benefits that you want to lose. So what do I actually mean by this? Let's put it into some context for you. If smoking was a thing that you're wanting to change, smoking has a lot of benefits for the smoker. Controversial to say, I know, but it does. And the benefits could be, let's think about it, being able to, if you're in an office, being able to get up from your desk and go outside for a cigarette gives you a break away from what you're doing, gives you a bit of a breather, might give you some time outside to mull over a problem. It might be you've just had a stressful event or something whilst you're working and you just want to get away and relax a little bit. Also, outside there are other smokers and it's a great social gathering place. You get to hear all the office gossip, you get to have a chat with people that you might not see at other times, and you even get to go outside and have a bit of fresh air, as mad as that sounds. And you even get to have a walk, depending on how far away your smoking place is. So when you actually give up the cigarettes, when you stop smoking, you are giving up being able to get up from your desk and take a few minutes out, catching up on the office gossip, getting a bit of fresh air, stretching your legs, and many other things, whatever those benefits are to you, engaging in that behaviour. So when you want to make that change, it's good to think about what you might lose that you actually want to keep, because those benefits are still wanted. That's what tends to make you go back to the previous habit, because you miss the benefits that that habit gave you. So if it's going to be giving up smoking, then how do you make sure that you still keep those benefits, like getting up from your desk, catching up on the gossip, stretching your legs, having a bit of downtime, having a moment to be able to work through a problem? So whatever those benefits are, you really do have to give them some thought. Once you've identified them, and you've identified that actually you don't want to lose those benefits, when you are creating your plan for your new outcome, how are you going to be able to incorporate those benefits into the new behaviour, the new change, the new habit, the new business, whatever it is that you might be pursuing, whatever your outcome is? It's discarding those benefits that you don't want to lose that tends to pull you back and take you back to the previous behaviour, the previous habits, or give yourself a bit of a hurdle when it comes to trying out something completely new. So question number 6 for me is a deal breaker. Ask yourself those questions. What am I going to lose? What do I want to keep? How am I going to keep it? How do I incorporate it? So question number 7 is actually the one that we tend to go to straight away when we're making a plan for change, and that is, what resources do I need? What do I need? What money do I need? What people do I need? What skills do I need? What emotional or physical support do I need? All of these things are what you're generally first thinking about. So you can tell at question number 7, all of the others actually have a bit more of an importance before you get to this real, like, nitty-gritty, hands-on planning part. Of course, if I was going to be decorating a room, the first thing I'd be thinking about is, How much wallpaper do I need? Who's actually going to put the wallpaper up for me? Who's going to do the painting? What, all of those resources things. So this is where you can really start to plan the hands-on stuff. What do you need? Who do you need it from? What skills do you need to learn? It could be that your outcome, your goal, the thing that you're striving towards means that you need to learn something new. How are you going to do that? Who's going to help you with that? Really important, very practical question number 7. So once you've sorted that out and you know exactly what you need, your next thing to ask yourself is an ecology question. Is this the right thing to do? Is what you're planning to do, what you're planning to change, the move forward that you're planning to make, is it actually the right thing to do? Is it ethical? Is it the right thing for you? Is it the right thing for the people around you? Is it the right thing for your community, for your city, your town, the planet? Is this the right thing to do? And is there room for you to collaborate and maybe to make some adjustments to it? Because it has to work for everybody for it to be truly successful. And now we're on to our last question number 9. What steps do you need to take to get this moving? What's the first step that you need to take? And whatever you think that first step is, I'd invite you to think, okay, what's actually the step before that? And maybe even what's the step before that? What is the very first thing that you need to do? There's an NLP principle. Nothing happens without action. So that first step has to be an action step. What action are you going to take that's going to move you forward? And even if it's the smallest thing, it is the first step on that journey. So that's the well-formed outcome. Those are the 9 questions. And they will really give you a lot of thinking to do around exactly what you need to do to be able to achieve the outcome that you desire. 9 simple questions, but they will take some thought. You can do a well-formed outcome questioning set in just a few minutes. You can do it in a day. You can do it over a week. Really depends on how big your outcome is. And the invitation also is to revisit it, because those questions, as you are going through the process of achieving your outcome, those questions may have to be revisited because you've come across a stumbling block along the way, something you didn't quite anticipate, and now you can go back and have a look at those questions and see the answers that they give you to move you again towards success. So that's it, the well-formed outcome. Enjoy, and your outcomes will come to you. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.